Our sun is dying. Mankind faces extinction. 16 months ago, I, Robert Capa, and a crew of 7 left Earth frozen in a solar winter. Our mission: reignite the sun before it's too late.
8 astronauts strapped to the back of a bomb, and a big bomb, a bomb the size of Manhattan. You think that's cool, and flying to the sun. And then you think there hasn't really been a film about the sun. There's never. I mean, it's the single most important thing, full stop, and there's never been a film about it.
Do I have to spell it out for you? We have a payload to deliver to the heart of our nearest star. We're delivering that payload because that star is dying, and if it dies, we die. Everything dies. So that is our mission. There is nothing, literally, nothing more important than completing our mission. End of story.
He's right.
He's right. Of course I'm right.
It's a tough mission, you know? You're going closer to the sun, it's getting hotter, there's a lack of oxygen, people are starting to get cabin fever, and, you know, they're really sort of feeling their own, their mortality, and you know, they're sacrificing themselves, really.
We all know there's something about living with people, and that changes the energy between people and the dynamic between people.
For 2 weeks, we actually lived together in student digs, in a very sort of confined space.
Once your personal space has been invaded, you have a very different sort of relationship with that person, and I think it was important to try and portray that convincingly on film, because when we first meet the crew of the ship, they're all sitting around having dinner, and we should suppose that is probably, I don't know, the 500th meal they've had all together. And I mean, you can act it, but to get that certain believability or tension or familiarity, to have lived it is a real bonus.
We did some training, scuba diving. We went to an airfield in a 2-seater airplane experiencing 4G, where you're traveling 200 odd miles per hour vertically up, where you're 4 times your weight, and then all of a sudden you're just plummeting down.
It's sort of exhilarating and nauseating and all of that at the same time. And they have this little glove on the, it's not a dashboard on a plane, but on the control panel, and that just like floats up in the air, and you're like pressed down like this. It's pretty amazing.
Mace, we're lined up. Everything's set.
I tried to do a CG movie once before, and I backed out of it. I was involved in Alien 4, which became Alien Resurrection, and I sensed then I didn't know enough to handle it. So I was this time I felt like I knew enough technically about filmmaking to really handle it. Fascinating. The patience that you have to have is staggering. The pre-planning, the pre-visualization of the film is so important, that you get people together. We had a guy on this called Tom Wood, helping, you know, who was supervising the CG. That he's an artist who can see the film like you see it is crucial, because it's going to take anything up to a year for some shots to be delivered.
He made a mistake.
What are you trying to say, Corey?
Harvey said there's not enough oxygen to get us to the payload delivery point, but there is. There just isn't enough oxygen to get all of us there.
Are you suggesting we let Trey kill himself?
No. And in any case, Trey wouldn't be enough. We need to lose 2 more.
The great films like 2001 and Solaris and Alien, the first Alien, they belong to, really. They're grounded. They aren't necessarily grounded, but they feel grounded in real space travel. And that we wanted to go down that branch.
But I had a great teacher in Brian Cox, who was like the science advisor on this film. So it did, I mean, it has really changed my perspective of science and the importance of it, and our planet and everything else.
The sun is going to die, which comes as news to some people. It frightens them a bit. It's burning 4 million tons of fuel every second away. So 4 million tons of mass disappears every second. So at that rate, it can't last forever. Now at the moment we think it'll last about another 5 billion years. So it's been around for 5 billion, it's middle-aged, it's got enough fuel left to last that long. But it is going to die one day.
These guys are kind of like modern-day explorers, you know, they're pushing the envelope of knowledge. It's quite astonishing. And what was really revealing to me was that 95% of the universe, they don't know what the hell it is. They can account for 5%, and that's quite amazing when you think about it, you know?
4 crew could potentially survive on current
Trey is
reserves.
dead. There are only 4 crew members.
Negative.
Affirmative, Icarus, 4 crew, Mace, Cassie, Carzon, and me.
5 crew members.
Icarus.
Yes.
Who's the 5th crew member?